Hello, hello. I am Dr. Sharice, and this is Spirit Soul Sense, information for your soul. Over here, I help Black men and women heal from trauma and toxic relationships. I got a couple questions on one of my other videos that I wanted to make a whole separate video about. There's two things I want you to pay attention to, the question being asked and the way it's being asked, just to sort of inform you and others about relationships. Like, how are we navigating these important aspects of ourselves and exploring who we are, blah, 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 blah. The first question is about preferences. So there are two parts to this. There's going to be two questions, but also an explanation provided by the person who left the comments. I have it right here. Do people's preferences actually change throughout life, or do they just get pragmatic? I think most people evolve a little as they get older. I think the whole point of being humans on earth is for our soul to evolve. So the things that you were interested in when you were 5 are likely not the same things, but maybe the same things that you're interested at 25, 35, and on and on. Part of evolving is shedding old versions of yourself, getting new ideas. If you experience trauma, letting go of the trauma, letting go of things that used to serve you, whether it was low vibration or toxic friends, and moving on to things that are of more interest to you. So do people's preferences change as they get older? Absolutely. I think also some people do become pragmatic. Interesting use of the word pragmatic versus desperate, because both men and women can pick a partner based on convenience, who they have access to at that moment, who most meets their goals for however lifestyle they view themselves as living in that moment. A lot of people have age markers, typically around the 30, 35, 40, 45 area on kids, marriage, where I want to live, what kind of car I want to drive. And so those markers can push people to make certain decisions that they may not really want to make or wouldn't have made otherwise if they had other options available to them. That's my answer to that question, right? Do people's preferences change? Yeah, duh. Second part of the question is an example. Let's use, for example, the Black man who dated the dark-skinned average woman when he was on the come up, and then when he got famous, gets with an ambiguous race or white woman. I believe that ambiguous race woman was always his preference, but he was pragmatic and got who he could get before he was on. His preference did not change after he got money and status. The girl, another example, the girl who has a baby daddy who looks good, is not responsible or successful, but he has confidence in the aesthetics she likes. When she was young in her physical prime, potentially she chose him to procreate with, and later on settled with an average guy to be the stepfather. When I read this, I think of a fairly well-educated Black man writing his thoughts and feelings. I know, in fact, this person said they are a Black man. That's saying what social media in general says about Black men and Black women in our society in a very professional way. I think one of my concerns is often the way social media frames relationships. They're often very transactional, very toxic, very surface level, right? I get with you because you look good, you get with me because I look good or because I have money, those sorts of things. Most relationships do not reflect this. In real life, if you think about the people you know in real life, if they met in high school or college, man, they just liked each other, right? Most of them just liked each other. As you get older and you're having to deal with like who's left, or if you had some toxic programming early on, sure, some of these surface level things I think might match. But these are archetypes, like these are ideas that exist in the Black community that do not reflect most of the relationships that exist. Like when women talk about the type of husband they want, they don't tend to look, women who are above 30, 35, 40, who are single, never been married, when they talk about the type of husband that they want, it often reflects some of the most desirable men on social media versus what an actual husband looks like. Because there are lots of Black women married to Black men and they are good husbands. That's not really what, I mean, part of why they're single is because they don't really want that type of guy. But let's break down part of what he's saying about, the black man who dated the dark skinned average woman, and then on his come up partners with the ambiguous looking black woman. I think there's so much nuance that can be added to this because we live in America. I live in America. I don't know where you are, but the racism, internalized racism, colorism that exists in the United States, but specifically in the black community, is wild and informs a lot of the decision making. So when we say a man has a preference of a light-skinned woman, one, is that really true? Is he more so aligning himself with a type of woman he thinks will garner him success? Like, does he really like her? Does he like her, or does he like the idea of her? And then the idea of her helps give him access to certain spaces, because the type of woman you pick, the type of man you pick, really impacts a lot of areas of your life. What if his preference really is black women, but he doesn't choose a black woman because she's not going to get him in the rooms that he wants to be? Because we know how black women in America are treated, and he likely cheats on his woman. Have you heard? I think it's Erica De Niro. I don't listen to Erica De Niro, but I love Ronnie the Voice, and he talks about her all the time. The preferences, the ambiguous looking woman or the white woman that's partnered with a lot of these black men are not being treated well. It's not like they won something. So is she really his preference, or does she happen to align with the energy that he has at this moment? And if he's toxic, then she's probably also toxic. Case in point, the Kardashians. So is it really a preference, right? That's the question I have to ask. And then how much of society impacts the way we talk about preference? How much of people in the limelight? Because celebrities are not reflective of real life. They're in a microcosm of life, but a lot of it is exaggerated and extreme and has no reflection of what we experience in everyday life. So, I think of Kevin Hart when I see this, and it's like, I don't know. I think all of Kevin Hart's friends are with light-skinned women. Maybe he wanted to fit in. You know what I mean? And this woman was also a nice woman who was also attracted to him, and she just so happened to be at the wherever they met or whatever. It's sort of, when you get into these rooms where people are making millions of dollars, most of the women who have access to those rooms are light-skinned or whites. Most of the women are not black or dark-skinned. Not to say there aren't a lot of rich dark-skinned women. Yes, but they're not sharing the same rooms all of the time. And then the one about the girl who is with the good-looking guy who's not successful or doesn't have money. I don't know. I didn't grow up here in the States, so I don't know all of the lingo. I've heard of the Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't think those are supposed to be good-looking guys. They're just poor. But what about maybe more like the jock who is good-looking but doesn't bring anything else to the table? Is it really her preference, or is it part of her trauma-informed conditioning that she would pick a man who can't provide much of anything but is good looking? I don't know. I hear a lot of women talking about they want their man to be fine. I don't really relate to that. I was thinking about doing a video about medium ugly because I saw this other girl did a video about medium ugly, because I joke and say I like my guy medium ugly, but I don't really. I don't know. Did she settle with the average guy to be the stepfather, or did she evolve and learn and grow and realize that, the qualities that I liked when I was 19 or 29 doesn't really reflect who I am today? Actually, I want somebody who's stable and secure and really advocates for our family, to be closer and financially responsible. Did she settle? It sounds like she's with somebody who she enjoys, likes, respects in a way. So that's my thoughts on that. Part of the conversation that I always want to bring is more on nuance, but let's get to the second question, which is about settling. Many black women have been struggling with whether they should settle or not. As a black man, I definitely see their point of view, whereas if they marry or partner with someone they are fundamentally not attracted to, it will lead to resentment and ultimately break up. But at the same time, there is numerically not enough men who fit their preference. That's true. Is it better to settle for someone who is not your preference, in especially risk and especially risk missing the window for motherhood if that's something they want, or should people just settle? And I left a comment answering this question. I think I answered both of them, but a little synopsis of whether people should settle or not. No is my short answer. My long answer is, why in all the time that you've been alive and dating and meeting people, you have not found someone that you would think would be a good match for you? I do agree, numerically there are not there are not the same number of Black men who are educationally and income at the same level that Black women are aspiring to when we think about the young people getting together now. I also believe in the law of manifestation, and you can get whatever you want, and there is a reason you're single. If you're past 35, 40, there's a reason you're single. I don't know the reason. I know the reason, but I don't know the reason. The reason can vary. And whatever that reason is can give really good information for what you can do next to release blockages to love so that you can find the partnership that you want. I do believe fully there is somebody for everybody. I think we have multiple soulmates, and your criteria, your list, I hope it's not one of those 30 list things that nobody can meet because no man is perfect. And have you been around heterosexual Black men? Girl, have you? Listen, I love Black men, okay? I love all men. Black men are my favorite. But there is a way that the world conditions them to be. The unicorns are usually married by 22, 23, 25, the latest. Maybe he's a widow, but if you don't want a widow on your list of things, then girl, I don't know what to tell you, okay? There are so many good, upstanding, respectful, part of the community Black men who are looking for a wife. If you live in a place like Atlanta, you will definitely get a lot of, a higher percentage of men who ain't about nothing, ain't gonna never be about nothing, don't want nothing real. Sure. But if you are not a part of that world, if that's not something that resonates with you, it's unlikely that that's what you're going to get. I do not think anybody should jump into a relationship or settle just because that's who is closest to them. I think that's a lack mindset. Find somebody you love. Find somebody you can do life with. Because when the moments get hard, you need to have friendship, a foundation underneath that will keep you all together. Why do you think so many people are getting divorced? Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Got married, moved in together, had children. Oh, I don't want you anymore. That shit is so wild to me. I get it. I understand. We're humans. But I feel like if people did a better job vetting their partner and really asking the difficult questions, really picking somebody who, man, you know what? I'm committed to you 120%. I'm in this with you. Like, no matter what happens, yes, divorce is always an option, but let's not make it an automatic option for us just because we're going through a difficult time. All of that to say, no, I do not think people should settle, but I do think it's super important for people to be considering, what are your requirements? Are your values aligned with your standards? Are they realistic? Are they idealistic? Are they delusional, right? Are you in the Lulu world and the man that you envision in your mind literally does not exist or has been married to another woman for 10 years? You know what I mean? What do you want? Because often the outside package that people want doesn't match the inside. This is the unicorn I'm talking about, right? Honestly, women like me who are fit, feminine, and friendly, right? Who are extremely smart, extremely good looking. How many, I'm already partnered. You know what I mean? How many women like me are you going to find who are really going to push themselves to do whatever it takes to maintain a healthy relationship? There are lots of women like me. I'm just saying, as smart as me, there are lots of women like me. And if you're a man looking for a woman, your dream relationship, it's definitely out there for you. If you are a woman, a Black woman looking for a Black man specifically, I do encourage dating outside your race. Just date people, right? Get to know people. But if you are looking for a partner, I 100% believe there is somebody for you. I know, but I don't think I would ever just blindly ride the you should settle train. No, that don't even make any sense. I wouldn't. No, not in anything in life. Don't settle for nothing, okay? Unless you're using the word like, I settled on this for dinner. Not that you're settling, but this is what you choose. Be very intentional. All the things. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like. Subscribe to my channel, please, because I'm invested in growing over here. Share this video with somebody you think may like it. And thank you for watching.